Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Noodles at Noon, the show that focuses on things not worth focusing on. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm your host, Ben, joined as always by my other host, whose birthday happens to be today. It's Noah.
Hello. I feel like this is just going to be a good episode of the podcast. I'm feeling good about it. I'm here. I'm ready.
In case you're wondering, Noah is officially old. And also joining us this week, he he brands himself as the Mexican Casey Neistat. It's Michael.
Thanks, Ben. Well, that wasn't self-proclaimed. I was given that title because there was a good point where I carried a camera every day for a year when I was filming a 1 second everyday project. But it's good to be here, and happy birthday week, Noah. You get the whole week.
I prefer birthday month.
Yeah, you get the whole week.
Happy birthday year, Noah. You get the whole year.
That's too far.
I was gonna offer him the month. I was gonna give him October, but no, we're giving him. You get the rest of 2020.
Take it. Yeah, no one else wants it.
Nobody else wants it. Yeah.
Yeah, you are free to have it. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week for Noodles at Noon. As always, we are so honored to have you here. And Michael, thank you so much for being with us. Do you have any fun updates from this past week that you want to let us know about?
I do have a fun weekly update from the last week or so. My weekly update is someone out there cooked us a pumpkin bread loaf with our name on it. Just kidding. That is true, but it's not my weekly update. This past week, my friend who's getting married, and he said I can mention him by name. My friend Cole is getting married, and he's moving to Florida with his soon-to-be wife. So he had a drive-by wedding celebration type thing. So I drove over there, went past the school near where they live, and saw signs that said a hug and go. And I see a bunch of people in the parking lot. I'm like, that's nice, a hug and go. Didn't think much of it. I go past, find the cul-de-sac he lives in, comes around. I'm like, hey. And then Cole comes over and tells me, hey, I realized I actually didn't tell you what we're doing with this drive-by thing, and you're actually in the wrong place. You need to go back to the school. And then I realized that I was going to the hug and go. So I got really excited, and I went over to the hug and go, and which actually wasn't happening that day. It was just they'd left up the sign. So we go back to the school. Everyone had on their mask, which was nice, even though we were outside, but we're all congested to the middle part of this parking lot where we were gathering. And I got to talk to some little kid, a very little kid, about garter snakes and how he found a whole family in a pile of leaves or something. And then he put them in a wheelbarrow and dished them in a ditch. That was fun. And then some other kid shows up with a 2-month-old pug. And that was the most adorable thing I've ever seen. So that was great. I go back, do the drive-by. It's a drive-by wedding. It's not a drive-by shooting. And I was
going to say, I went back and did the drive-by, finished my job.
I finished the duties, but it was great. I got to meet his fiance, and I also brought my bullhorn with me in the passenger seat. And the entire way down, after I said, nice to meet you, I just blared the siren on it almost as loud as it could go. And these construction guys were staring at me as I was leaving the whole street, which was great. Ben, do you have something? You were raising your hand like you wanted to speak.
Oh, no, sorry. I just have my hand up. Sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm just doing like the Matthew McConaughey rolling my fingers, you know?
I too often hold my hands up above my head just for the fun of it.
My elbow's resting on my desk.
I don't know where your desk is, so.
Sorry.
You're good. My final thing is a listener of the show recommended that I check out the song Revolutionary by Josh Wilson. Do you guys know this song?
I do
Revolutionary, Josh Wilson.
Who's Josh Wilson?
Josh, I just suck at speaking, but he's a CCM artist.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay. And I just think it's an inspirational song, regardless of what faith you follow, that I think we could all use and hear in this upcoming month, and probably forever. But some of the lyrics go, why does kindness seem revolutionary? When did we let hate get so ordinary? So it's just a really powerful song, and that's Revolutionary by Josh Wilson. Not Joss Wilson, not Josh.
That was my fault.
I said Josh several times.
Oh, you did?
I just played it off.
I have actually met Josh Wilson before.
What?
Josh Wilson came and did a concert at the factory I work at one time. And there were only like 100 people or so there. So I had like a front row seat. I didn't know who he was at the time. and actually had forgotten about him until you just mentioned him, and his name sounded familiar, and I looked him up. But I have actually been to a very small concert in a lawnmower parking lot for this guy.
Neat. Weird connection, but there you go.
That is cool, though.
He's super cool.
Noah, do you have anything that you want to talk about from this past week?
I don't have much. It's been kind of a weird week.
Did you finally go axe throwing?
I did. I'll finally tell my axe throwing story. Should I tell it or should I save it?
What are you saving it for?
Every week it gets less relevant, so I should just... there's nothing to the story. I went axe throwing is the story. I went to an axe throwing bar.
I still don't believe you.
Did I not send you the pictures?
It was photoshopped. It was fake.
Proof that you went axe throwing.
I will put a picture up on the website proving that I went axe throwing, and I got an 8-point target, which is the best you can do. But I went to a nearby axe throwing bar, which is pretty cool. You do have to wear masks, and everybody's separated and everything. But me and a friend, we went and threw some axes. It's super fun. My goal was to just stick an axe in the board, and that was all I wanted to do for the entire time. And I was able to stick the very first one, and it turns out it's actually really not that hard. It's really fun. So, just proof. Here's my friend with
That's
an
not
axe.
you.
I was gonna say that's not you.
Actually, I don't know if I have a picture of myself. I don't have a picture of myself
See,
here.
You never went axe throwing.
Yeah. Okay.
May I just say,
the point's still...
one of my favorite inventions of all time is someone was like sitting down. He's like, you know what we need? A place where you can go throw axes. And one of his friends was like, you know what would make that better? Alcohol.
That's what I've seen too. I've seen that it's really common to have like a bar hybrid with axe throwing, and bowling is enough with alcohol. I'm assuming. I've obviously never done that, but
there's a place where it's like putt-putt in a pub, and I'm like, that's cool.
That's more responsible.
You're not throwing axes at people.
You can hurt people with those putters. You got to be careful. Yeah, it is a terrible mix of things. We didn't drink. I think there's like a 2-drink limit. So you don't have to drink. You can drink. You probably shouldn't drink and throw axes, but it is a thing you can do.
You are forced to drink as soon as you go through the door.
That's good they don't force you to drink.
Yeah. You're not allowed in.
As soon as you walk in, here's an old-fashioned.
You have to do a shot at the door. Anyway, that's my axe throwing story. It's far less interesting than the hype has led us to believe.
Should have saved it.
That's the story. I had another story, but it was boring. It was about getting candy at Walmart, and that's pretty much the whole story, too. I got Halloween candy at Walmart this week. I bought 2 whole giant bags, and I brought it home, and I dumped it in a bowl. And my wife came home and looked at it and said, why did you buy candy? And I said, well, I bought it for us to just have for the month of October. And she said, well, I don't really like or eat candy. And I was like, yeah, I just mostly bought it for myself. I just didn't want to have to admit it, but I really just bought this giant bowl of candy just for myself.
Well, and also
That's great.
having been to where you live, your house isn't really like your door isn't on a street. So I don't know if trick-or-treaters are going to go to you. So.
I hope not. I don't want to share my candy with them. So here I am with my box of Grape Nerds. Not a sponsor, but I can just sit here. I did a good shot of Nerds before the podcast, and I'm doing well. I have candy.
Did they do shots of Nerds at the axe throwing, bro? He's just throwing down some Nerds. I think he's choking.
I spilled.
Oh no, you made a mess. Oh no.
Okay, I can't talk for a while. Somebody else talk.
Ben, your
right,
story.
I'll go.
Let's hear it.
I guess my story's up. My story, last week I was just chilling at a park, as I do. I think do normal people just go sit in parks? I had a chai tea. Does that help my story of why I was sitting in a park? I don't know.
It's pronounced
but
Kai.
There were... Kai? Kai tea?
I'm kidding. I don't know.
I certainly hope it's not pronounced Kai, because I will have been saying it wrong my entire life, and it's one of my favorite beverages. It's so much better than pumpkin spice lattes. But I was at this park. Don't make that face, Noah. I was at... just keep choking on your nerds.
I still can't really talk. This was a bad idea.
So I was at a park, and there was 2 birthday parties going on for some kids. I was not affiliated with their parties in any way, although they did have some bacon that was cooking that smelled really nice. But I was sitting on a bench just staring at a lake, as you do when you're at a park. The bench was awkwardly it was facing the lake, but all the benches around the lake were about 50 feet from the lake, so you couldn't really get a very good view of the lake, but whatever. So we're there, and I hear an ice cream truck siren, just like the whatever sound it makes. And I start looking around. I'm like, oh, there's probably an ice cream truck around here. And I don't see one. But I see this black Suzuki Vitara, which is like the weird Suzuki version of a Jeep, but not really. That's had like the back roof of it cut off, and attached to it is like a cooler and a siren. So it's like a Suzuki Vitara ice cream truck that this guy just gets out of, and all the kids run up to this Suzuki and are just getting ice cream from this random ice cream truck. I don't know if I want to say ice cream truck. Michael, did you look up Suzuki Vitara?
I did.
I did too.
That was,
Am I correct?
Yeah. I don't trust anyone that drives that in the first place. Second of all, when you've got...
It was weird because like a police car drove right past them and like didn't stop or anything while this man is selling ice cream out of the back of his Suzuki. And so I guess it was sanctioned in some regard. Michael, what are you about to show us?
Sorry, hold on. I pushed the wrong thing. Keep speaking. You'll see it soon.
And I was there with another person. We discussed this at length, that how concerned we were with this Suzuki, and then it drove off. Yep, nope, that's except it was black, but yeah, that's exactly what it was.
So what we're looking at is this one's a 2001 Suzuki Vitara for the cutoff, or I guess it came as a pickup truck. I don't know, but the pickup truck is about as useful
it has
as
like a soft top.
You can fit a seat in the back, and that's about it.
You can take your toddler.
This
for
was
a
an
ride.
older one, and it was an older one, and it had like the soft top. But yeah, it was just. I don't know if it was like fully legal or what was going on, but it was just an interesting occurrence.
I don't know why
there was a...
This sounds like this should have been your Try It Tuesday, to go try ice cream out of a sketchy Suzuki Vitara.
I could have done that, but I might not be here.
That's why you live stream it, so at least you get some footage before you go.
Right.
I feel like, well, now that I think about it, I would be more likely to approach someone selling ice cream out of a Suzuki Vitara, because how do you kidnap somebody in a Suzuki Vitara?
That one seat in the back. That's
there's no
one
room
at a
for
time,
the person
obviously.
you've kidnapped.
That's fair.
Hey, want some ice cream? Here, let me empty everything else out of my car first. Can you take like 50 ice creams? Okay, now there's room. Okay, get in.
That's the business model. You sell all the ice cream, and then you can kidnap one person. You have room for one person.
I have made $50, and I now have a human being. Excellent trade. Yeah, it was just a weird thing that happened. It was... You ever have those experiences where you are sitting there and something happens, and you realize that you are witnessing part of a story, but not the entire story? And you realize, like, I'm not going to be able to fully understand what's going on right now, but I'm just happy that I can be here for part of it. You ever have that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely had that happen before. The other time it's happened is also, ironically, or not ironically, coincidentally included ice cream as well. But I was in another town eating ice cream with some friends, and it's in this outdoor area, like a little courtyard. And this guy walks into the courtyard, and I believe him to be blind because he has like the walking stick thing that he's waving around as you do, and he has the sunglasses on. And he's carrying a djembe as he's walking through this courtyard, and he just kind of walks around and then leaves. And I'm like, yeah, that was like probably an eighth of the entire story, and I really, really want to know the rest.
The place for him, okay.
But it just wasn't the place he was supposed to be. I'm like, I really want to know what's going on here, but I don't think I will ever fully understand.
That's great.
Well, those are our past week, or in Noah's case, past him making up an axe throwing story.
Couple months. That extends past my birthday month. It wasn't even my birthday month then.
I think that's the statute of limitations of what we can do during this weekly updates portion. But we're going to move along. I'm knowing more than most. We're going to move along to reviews, and I think Noah has one. Is that what we're going with?
I think we both do.
I have one first. Mine's in the document first, so I'll go first.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I was also gesturing, pointing at myself, but I don't know if you saw that. I'm guessing not, because it was really aggressive.
Sorry.
Okay.
I had the document pulled up. I'm sorry.
All right. So our first one comes from our good friend Noodles at Midnight, who made it clear that they are not enemies and indeed an ally of some kind. So they say, this comes from actually several weeks ago. Noodles at Noon, I have never even considered... that was not correct. I have never considered entering the dark world of podcasts. For now, you are safe to bring joy to your listeners. ... Ben, you could definitely be in the running as a potential co-host if I ever do, because you boldly waged war against pumpkin spice latte. So I guess they're opening up room for debate with you, Ben. And then they finish it off saying, until next time, Noodles at Midnight.
I think that was written in the sort of, I too am against pumpkin spice lattes. Come join me, and we can...
Are you sure?
Commiserate. I think so.
Because the post that they made seemed to glorify anything pumpkin. I will look. You
but that doesn't mean that they're pro pumpkin spice lattes. I'm pro pumpkin. I love pumpkin pie. I'm not necessarily pro pumpkin spice lattes.
I know
this conversation is...
I think I can make the best case for why Ben should stay with our podcast and not leave for Noodles at Midnight. Our working hours are much better. We work at noon. They work at midnight. You'd have to stay up super late. Not a good trade. So stay with us.
That's true. Okay. I do have work early in the morning, so I think I have to stick with Noodles at Noon for the time being. Depends on how much Noodles at Midnight is willing to pay me, though. I will jump ship for money. Noah, do you have any reviews? Literally any.
$5 a week. He's out of here. He can be bought for any price.
Yep.
We do have another review over on iTunes, which we really appreciate. If you'd like to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, it really helps us out, helps gain traction, and actually our show has been growing quite a bit, which is kind of amazing. It's awesome to see people listening to the show, and people actually listening to more than one episode, because most people I've talked to who have listened to an episode that I know, they've actually listened to multiple. So that's really cool. That's awesome. So we have a review from August Evenings. The subject says, surprisingly, didn't hate it. So we're off to a great start there.
I love the growing amount of people who are shocked when they listen to our show. Because like last week, wasn't it like I genuinely like enjoyed it? I'm like, were you expecting to not genuinely enjoy it? Surprisingly didn't hate it.
Yeah, last week he said was genuinely amused from our friend Barrett. So this week it's a surprisingly didn't hate it. So anyway, his review says, as a fan of noodles and eating lunch, I ran across this podcast and surprisingly didn't hate it. There we go again, doubling down. The banter is humorous and those games are refreshingly random. These guys feel like fellas I would hang out with. I'm picturing a dorm room feeling apartment, Mac. And then the review ends abruptly. And then this person, August Evenings, had to communicate to me that if you put an ampersand in your podcast review, iTunes just cuts off everything past the ampersand. So it ends just mid-sentence. But he was able to send me the full review. So I'll read the rest of it, which says, these guys feel like fellas I would hang out with. I'm picturing a dorm room feeling apartment, mac and cheese with plenty of sriracha, and some Super Smash Bros. Stayed for the combo of witty, snarky political jabs, somebody's picked up on our politics, and wholesome homeschool humor. Keep up the great work. Even though only one of us is homeschooled, I
Only
would
one of
say
us.
we all still share a sense of homeschool humor.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So anyway, August evenings, they gave me some other just very nice feedback about the podcast that I'll have to share with you both. Really great person. We're really appreciative of your review. And yeah, thank you. I'm glad you didn't hate it.
Anyone who rates our podcast highly is a great person, in my opinion.
So if you want us to like you, leave us a review
Yeah.
on iTunes.
Likewise, if you want us to really like you, do some of the work for yourself. Make it easier. Who likes typing? I don't like typing. What do I like? Speaking. That's a lie. But speaking's easy.
You really don't.
Just look up the audio tracks when you edit, and you'll see like my section,
Yeah,
Noah's
it's like
section, Ben's
12
section.
seconds. Yeah. I talk a lot. Noah talks a good amount,
Some.
and then Michael has like 13 seconds of combined audio.
Regardless, speaking, some of you like speaking, and if you like speaking, we have a new thing on the website called SpeakPipe. What is SpeakPipe? SpeakPipe is just a voicemail service that we have that lets you leave us a message, tell us a story, give us audio feedback, anything that you'd like that you can drop into SpeakPipe. So how do you do SpeakPipe? You go to noodlespodcast.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. The site kind of looks like
Noodlespodcast.com.
the site kind of looks like it'll get stuck, but just scroll all the way down, go to contact us, click that, start a recording, and if you're weird about internet security like I am, then you can disable microphone permissions and stuff for the website and the browser afterward. If you don't care about that, don't worry about it. But SpeakPipe is a kind of a voicemail service that you can leave us a voice message, and then that way you save our vocal cords and use yours.
Yeah.
Energy
Limited
efficient.
mileage
And if you
on
do
these
that,
guys.
we'll have to figure out a way for us to actually play it. But we'll do it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
more
that's
work because we have to
easy.
download
That's
the
easy.
audio and
Well-
put it in the podcast for whoever
Yeah.
edits it.
Or we could just use my board. I could just plug in my phone because I have one of these thingies.
That's true.
Watch, I can
A
play
dongle.
music over the thing right
Okay, let's
now.
not do that. All right.
This is gonna be great.
Copyright.
I'm going to randomly start playing a
Copyright.
music video. 1 second. Let me find something.
I don't like where this is
play.
going.
Where's Spotify? You guys won't be able to hear it.
Oh, good.
Oh, great.
Hopefully it doesn't make it into the recording. We'll see.
I
Also,
think
Noah,
something's playing.
I don't know if you knew this, but your favorite Noodles at Noon game poll thing, Florida Man won by very slim margins, won by a vote. Above
That is
anything
true.
else.
We saw it. People really like Florida Man. I think it's definitely our most commonly played game on the show, and people really seem to like it. Now that you have a friend, Michael, that's moving to Florida, maybe he can be like our on-the-ground reporter
Be
telling
the
us
Florida Man. Oh,
what people in Florida are doing. Yeah, he is a
I
Florida
thought
man.
become the Florida Man.
Cole,
He's either
Cole
got to
is
beat him or
Florida
join
Man.
him. Other games that were popular that we will definitely be bringing back are Cameo Celebrity Cost Cthulhu was really popular. People like Food Flop Funambulism and Lost in Translation, that game we played one time where we looked at movie titles that had been poorly translated. So thank you for your feedback.
We greatly appreciate it. This helps us know what games you like to listen to. We will continue to force you to listen to Florida Man. Speaking of games,
And-
do we have games?
We have
We do.
3 games lined up. And Noah, we'll start the first one. Noah, take it away.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We know that you like all these games. We're excited for you to...
Can I just say something real
Ben
quick?
has it.
Sorry, I just want to point something out. If you hear this whooshing noise
I've got it too.
in the background of any of our audio and you think that we're stuck in washing machines, it's incredibly windy today. And yeah, so you're probably just hearing the wind, I promise. That's just a
Yeah,
disclaimer.
it sounds like the roof is going to blow off this room, but it's rigidly attached, trust me.
Yeah.
I think. We'll find out.
The shack
Anyway,
that I
sorry,
live
Noah.
in might fall apart, but my audio setup will remain strong, I promise.
All right, well, we'll get into game number 1. We know that you're excited about some of these games that we've talked about already. We know you're excited for us to play more of some of these games, so we're going to go ahead and play a new game. Ben, Michael, welcome to Urban Legends. Have either of you ever spent any time on Snopes.com?
No,
I have. I know Snopes.
I haven't.
Yes, what?
Do you know
I
what
don't believe you,
Snopes.com
but
is,
okay.
Ben?
Not really.
So it's basically a fact checker type website where whether it's political news or urban legends, some of the weird things that you hear, like the other day with your car opening and people were saying just use a tennis ball with a hole in it and you can pop the lock open.
That doesn't
and
work.
You were saying that is not true.
That
you
will
can
not
check
work.
things like that on Snopes.
Oh, okay.
So
that sounds cool.
The point of this game is we're going to take a look at some of the urban legends that are just strange, like some of the strangest urban legends I could find on Snopes. But I'm going to leave out a couple of words, and you have to tell me what the urban legend is. So we'll start with the first question. This urban legend claims that the government forced KFC to stop using the word chicken in their advertising because the food they served wasn't actually chicken. It was actually what, Michael?
Oh boy. So I saw a news article very recently that said that Subway's bread is not technically bread. It does not fulfill the requirements of bread. It's more sugar than it is bread. So what is more not chicken than chicken? Antibiotics and steroids. That's my answer.
And yeah, just a reminder, the answer does not have to be true. These urban legends are not true. It's just what people thought. So Michael says
And I'm locking it in.
Antibiotics and steroids. Ben, what do you say?
I think people would have believed that the KFC chicken was not actually chicken. It was actually made out of donkey meat that was then breaded and fried and sold at a remarkably low price because you can get a donkey for pretty cheap. I think I saw that somewhere once. Yeah.
And just think about how many chickens you'd have to acquire for the same amount of meat as a donkey. Like,
right?
Donkeys are big. They're just bigger than chickens.
Yeah.
It's fair. All right. Well, the answer is, to this urban
Turkey.
legend, the claim said that the government forced KFC to stop using the word chicken because what they were actually using were 8-legged, genetically engineered chickens. And these chickens had no
Not turkey at
feathers,
all.
no beaks. They just had 8 legs, so you can get lots of drumsticks out of them, I guess. So I'm going to go with Michael because this is clearly some kind of steroid monstrosity. The claim turned out to be false.
I'll take it.
Completely unfounded. Not true. They do not use 8-legged chickens. I would have also accepted the answer rats because there was also a popular urban legend circulating that KFC was serving rat meat, which was also untrue.
Oh, that's good. I went to KFC the other day because my mom wanted green beans from KFC. So I went through the drive-thru at KFC to get green beans. And I was like, hey, can I have an order of green beans? And they're like, sorry, we discontinued those. So then I was like, okay, bye.
Oh.
And then I just drove through the rest of the... It was weird. It was the most awkward interaction I've ever had in a drive-thru.
Did you end up getting green beans, or did you just have to go without?
I went to another store and got green beans. That's
Man.
okay, maybe that's the second most awkward thing that's ever happened to me in a drive-thru. Because there's one time I was at Sonic, and the person went to say, I was like, hey, can I get X, Y, and Z, whatever it is I got? And they're like, yeah, no problem, except they didn't, their microphone cut off the first bit, so they just went, problem. And I was like, okay.
I thought their microphone cut out, and they're like, "Will you marry me?" I'm like, "Oh, can't you have one?" What? That would be
Why
a
would
weird
their,
one to
why
get.
would their
banned.
microphone cut out and have them say that?
That's where I thought you were going.
No,
with
I
that,
have not
but
been proposed
you
through in a
disappointed
Sonic
me,
drive-thru. Yet. It's coming,
I
for
better
sure.
be on Florida Man.
Florida man proposes to fiance in Sonic drive-thru with an onion ring. Onion
that
ring
was
jokes.
so bad. That was bad.
It's happened. I'm sure it's happened.
Oh, I
All right.
it.
Well, we're going to move on to the next question. Michael's up 1-0. You guys are both familiar with Raggedy Ann and Andy,
Andy.
the dolls. So this claim states that the famous Raggedy Ann doll, originally created in 1915, was modeled after this. Ben, what do you think Raggedy Ann was modeled after in this urban legend?
Well, if I remember correctly, Raggedy Ann has raggedy red hair. Right? Correct?
Correct.
So the most prolific 1950s redheaded character that I can think of off the top of my head, we also just celebrated his day, apparently, thanks to the holiday game from last week. I think Raggedy Ann is based off of Leif Erikson.
All right, Ben. So your answer is Leif Erikson.
Yes.
Taking that callback from last week. Michael, what do you think?
The only famous redheaded person that I am aware of that bears some semblance to Raggedy Ann is the Wendy's lady. Wendy. More commonly
What was her name
as
again?
Wendy. I don't know, but the garage door is going off again. I'm sorry. Wendy. That's
right.
my only answer. I'm sure that was after 1915, but I don't give it to
I very much don't think Wendy's was a thing in 1915. Maybe 1950, but not.
Still don't give a toot.
All right, Leif Erikson or Wendy. The answer is a child killed by a vaccine.
Oh.
And the doll was meant to be an anti-vax doll, like to help represent the
Really?
anti-vax movement. This claim is also false. The creator of Raggedy Ann did have a daughter that did die of a vaccine, but it was after the invention and patenting of Raggedy Ann. So the events were unrelated. So the story doesn't necessarily have a happy
No,
end.
it doesn't.
But it's not true. So, well, parts of it were true, but it is not an anti-vaccine doll, specifically.
I think I was closest.
You both named people that were, I don't know, it was a, well, actually, I don't, oh, it was a daughter. So it was female. I don't know, Ben,
Yeah.
why would you say yours is closer?
Because Raggedy Ann's also female.
Well, I would say mine's closer because Leif Erikson's dead.
Ooh.
I would argue that mine is true because you know how many people die of health complications from cardiovascular disease from eating fatty foods every year?
That's more
Exactly.
That's more Ronald McDonald-y, though. I'm not saying that Wendy's is better, but it is.
But it is.
I'm going to have to give this point to Ben because Wendy Thomas is actually still alive.
I know
apparently.
that for a
She
fact.
is 59.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. She's not that old. The point goes to Ben, bringing the total up to 1-1. All right. The
Thank
last
goodness Leif
question.
Erikson is dead.
Long dead.
Long dead.
All right. You guys familiar with The Godfather?
Yes.
Heard of it? Maybe.
All right. Well, a Nigerian tabloid supposedly exposed a restaurant that was serving this to their guests. Michael, what were they serving to their guests?
Godfather related. Oh boy, I've never seen it. I don't know it. Ben mentioned it on the show several weeks ago. Something about The Godfather, I think. I know it's about mobsters. Lobsters. We'll twist mobsters into lobsters. I'm just gonna go with lobsters because I'm running out of road quickly. So
If that was the answer and that was my connection, mobsters to lobsters, then I would be amazed.
That's impressive.
Ben, what's your guess?
My guess is going to be a horse's severed head. The severed head of a horse.
I've heard. Yep.
Ah,
You might
yes.
be onto it.
Reference to the classic scene where the horse's head is found in the man's bed.
Yes.
Well, Ben, you are not far off, but we need to get a little more gruesome. This Nigerian tabloid supposedly
Robert
exposed
De
a
Niro's severed
restaurant
head?
that was serving human heads to their guests. This restaurant, they say, was serving human
Please be
heads to
false.
their guests. But
Please be false.
the story has a happy ending because the hotel clarified that this story is false. The human heads were not found in the restaurant of the hotel. They were found in a hotel room and were apparently part of a business dispute.
Reminds me of the time I once found heroin in the hotel room I was staying in. And that was
I remember that.
a business dispute. Why, you weren't there, Noah.
I remember you telling me this story.
No, he put it there.
Noah and I were just hanging out in a heroin den in Albuquerque.
So anyway, no need to worry about the food at this hotel. No
good.
humans are being served at the hotel. But check your bed before you go to sleep. This is the end of Urban Legends.
Wait, who won?
Michael, no.
Wait.
Ben.
No.
Ben won.
Yeah, I was like, if he guessed severed head of some animal and then you gave it to me as a lobster, I would be
Lobster's closer
Slightly,
to a
I'd be honored.
human severed head than a horse's severed head.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would have been honored, but I
Yes.
couldn't take that victory.
Ben is the winner of the first ever game of Urban Legends. Michael, take it away.
I've got a game. This one is called, I did make it longer, sorry, Constitutional, Cardiovascular, Celebrity Cameo Cost, Cthulhu. One word more each time. Un otra vez. For those of you not in the know, Cameo is a service that allows you to purchase a short video from celebrities of all popularities, and they can wish you a happy birthday, happy anniversary, a graduation, and so on. And in this game, the two guests, Ben and Noah, will go head-to-head to guess the cost of each celebrity's cameo. And we're using Price is Right rules. That means highest, closest bid without going over wins. Today's theme is music. It's music, guys.
Time.
There should be 100% batting accuracy for this one. All right. I'm assuming we're ready because no one said nothing else.
I'm ready.
Round one. Sweet, thanks. Round
I'm ready.
one.
Hold on, let me take a shot
Thanks.
of nerds.
Oh no, that means I have to go first because he's gonna be out of
He's gonna
commission
sugar
for like
crash
5
so
minutes.
hard.
All right, we're good. I got a small
Here we go.
amount.
Round one. Lead singer of Sugar Ray, Mark McGrath, who also made a cameo in the... I didn't mean to say cameo there, but he made an appearance or a cameo in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie at some point in the early 2000s. How much, Ben, is Mark McGrath, lead singer of Sugar Ray?
I'm gonna go with. I'm trying to imagine how much they had to pay him to be in live action Scooby Doo. So I'm gonna say $65.
All right. And Noah?
I was gonna say.
Oh, he's
40.
still digesting.
I'll say $40.
Okay. So we got 65 and 40. Ben takes it. Mark McGrath is $99.
Ooh.
$99. We're talking musicians, so apparently they're a little bit more than the other rounds that we've done.
Good to know.
More than sportscasters.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't get a ESPN musician for $20 or whatever, apparently. Round two, yeah, boy, is Flava Flav, the American rapper, known for always having that huge clock around his neck.
Yeah.
How much is Flava Flav on Cameo, Noah?
$125.
For Flava
and
Flav?
Ben?
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
he's more expensive than that. Flavor Flav's like. I'm gonna say $130 because I think it's more than you, but I don't want to go too high.
What? That's
Ben
so
takes
rude.
another one. Well, Ben takes it $250 for Flava Flav.
Oh, I'm so
You
glad.
can get that massive clock in your feed whenever you need it.
Will he wear the
I guess,
clock
I don't
in
know.
the video, or is that more?
I
Is that
don't
extra?
recall if he had it on. No, I think it's included. I don't recall if he had it on in the sample videos, so I'm now waiting for my internet to load. He has it on.
Okay.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Because like if I didn't
Clock
get
included,
the
so.
clock in the video, I'd ask for a refund.
That'd be a ripoff.
Yeah.
Number 3, Charles Chip Eston, actor, improv artist from Whose Line, and musician. Chip Eston. How much is Chip Eston? Ben, I believe you begin.
Yeah, he was the one on Whose Line that was kind of there sometimes, but also not really. The fourth one that kind of just
Right.
rotates.
He's the Michael of Whose Line.
Yeah, except I like Michael more than Chip. I will say that. Sorry, Chip, if
Aw,
you're listening.
That's so sweet.
I'm gonna say $85. That's actually no. That's
All right.
No, I regret that.
Are you locked in? You're locked
Yeah,
in.
too late.
Too bad.
I mean, I don't know this person, so I'm going to go low. I'm going to say $1.
That's
Man, Ben takes this one. That's 3-0, so Ben takes it. Chip is 150.
whoa.
150.
Wow. I'm sorry, Chip.
Yeah.
That's more than
He does donate proceeds to charity,
okay.
by the way. it seems like almost 100%, if not 100%.
I was going to
based
say,
on
though,
what I
that's
read on
more
his
than
page.
Colin Mockery was, wasn't it?
I don't recall, but yes, because I think he was in the double digits, not triples.
Yeah.
I think, but I don't remember. Round 4, the godfather of shock rock and pastor's kid, which I found out in my research, known for the chicken incident where he threw a chicken into the crowd and the crowd tore it up, Alice Cooper. How much is the 72-year-old rock musician Alice Cooper? Noah.
Man, we're just not treating chickens well on this podcast.
This one only had 2 legs and 2 wings, so
And a beak, so that's good.
that's correct.
I'm gonna go 150.
All right, 150 for Noah. Ben.
Alice Cooper. What band was he in again?
Alice Cooper.
Yes, Alice Cooper.
I think the group was called Alice
The
Cooper.
band was called Alice Cooper. I'm going to say 300. No, 400.
Oh, Ben.
Oh,
You just locked yourself in. I got ready the sound effect.
Okay, I say
And
300.
you lost it. Noah takes a point. Noah takes the point.
300.
You changed your answer. No.
I need a point. Give me the 1 point.
Noah got the point. Alice Cooper is $300 even.
Dang it.
And I just thought that was an interesting tidbit. He's a pastor's kid, but he got heavily into the shock rock stuff, which was
that might
weird
be
stuff.
where the pastor's kid stigma comes from.
Probably.
Yeah.
So school's out, Noah. Nice job. 1 point for you. Next one, Casey Abrams. So we talked about Casey in the crazy cover poll. Casey did half of the cover from Postmodern Jukebox. So he's a vocalist and a bass player popularized by Postmodern Jukebox. I forgot who we started. Oh, we didn't know it last time. Ben, you start this round.
Postmodern Jukebox, pretty popular amongst people like me, which is to say not many people, because, yeah, I'm pretty weird. So I'm going to say $92.48.
Can you say that again? The Skyped out for a second. Just put it out.
$92.48.
Okay. 92.48. Got it. All right. And Noah.
$1, Bob.
Noah pulls the $1 Bob card. I never said who got the round, but
know,
Noah's
I-
already saw.
Noah-
I just know I won. I can
happy.
feel it.
No, Noah gets it. He's $20.
$20.
That's really funny. Noah threw his arms way
I
up
knew.
in the air.
I could just sense it.
All right. Round 6. Lance Bass, singer and dancer known for his work in Asterisk NSYNC, stylized as Asterisk NSYNC. Noah, you're up first. How much is Lance Bass for a video on Cameo?
Well, I know what I would pay, and that would be $175.
Ooh.
Got it.
Well, Lance, his name's Lance Bass, by the way, not Bass.
I'm not convinced that's true. I've
Me neither.
never heard it pronounced that way.
I've never.
Okay.
I'm not really convinced either. You said 175. I just think the fact that he was in sync makes people appreciate him. So I'm going to say $2.
Better hope it's not one.
Seems like counterintuitive detective work, Ben, but Noah takes the point. We're tied up at
No!
3-3. Lance Bass is 250, or he's 249 actually on the money. So
Yes.
Ben, bye, because Noah gets the point. So
Bye, bye, bye.
that's an NSYNC song for those of you keeping score. Last round, round 7. Mr. Lova Lova himself, Shaggy. His URL is Da Real Shaggy,
Da
by
Real.
the way. He's a Jamaican reggae musician. How much is a cameo from him? Ben.
$420.
Clever. Noah.
Very clever. I appreciate the cleverness, but I gotta take the easy win. $1.
And Noah does
Bob?
take the win. Missed opportunity. He is 400 even, and I will fact check this right now, but that's assuming that the video is actually of him. He might just show up and say, wasn't me, and then leave. $400 confirmed. So Noah, congrats on the 4-3 victory. Last minute, mind you. Last minute. There's proof. There's no tampering with this.
I'm
No,
amazed, Ben,
no
that you
tampering
actually
with
got
that
that
sticky note.
close.
I know. Why wouldn't he just add an extra $20? If you're
That's a
go for
good
it.
question.
if you're already
because
spending $400 on something, you'd be willing to spend an extra $20.
That's so true.
I'm not. Yeah, that's a missed opportunity, given his genre and things. But whatever,
Whatever.
he missed out.
He did.
All right, one more game, Ben.
One more game, and we're
We'll go
going
to
to
you.
finish it off with everyone's favorite game. Well, apparently one of you's favorite game. It's Florida Man. That's right, the game where we take Florida stories and take out words from their headlines, and then I give them back to you. Well, at least Noah and Michael do, with the filled-in terms, and I decide who was closest or who was best. And we're going to start it off on October 5th of this year, so October 5th, 2020. This Miami bakery was making a batch of sourdough. Then, blank. So what happened, Noah, to this Miami bakery that was making a batch of sourdough?
I think it exploded. If you guys have seen Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Loaf and Death, if you bake too much bread, things get out of control, bread expands, the thing exploded. Too much sourdough.
Too much sourdough, and the bakery exploded. That's a good answer. Michael, what do you think?
My answer is too little sourdough. There was so little sourdough that it impacted, imploded, sucked up into itself, and then exploded. I couldn't resist the opportunity to do that. No, but my first reaction was a bird hit the window. And that's all I've got. I don't know.
Miami
So,
bakery.
a chicken hit the window.
Miami bakery was...
Made national news.
Well, on October 5th, 2020, a Miami bakery was making a batch of sourdough. Then a car drove through the window. so I think I'm going to have to give it to Michael. A post on Instagram that was posted on the bakery's Instagram, that was a redundant sentence, read, "Sourdough bread can be tricky. You can have a perfectly active sourdough mother, good mix, good fermentation, good shape, good proof, and then all of a sudden, a Chevrolet smashes into the bakery and ruins everything." That is why making sourdough is tricky. I think the driver of the Chevrolet was just really upset with the whole like bread baking trend of quarantine and just really wanted to see it put to an end. But yes, Michael.
Hey, your
Huh?
dad was on that trend before
Yeah,
it was
my
cool.
dad's been, not sourdough, but my dad's been baking bread for a long time.
Oh. Yeah.
I can
It's-
vouch for
I guess
the
it's just
anger side of this bread baking incident.
You not
my
a fan?
sister Lexi, who was on the show a few weeks ago, she tried for like a week to make a sourdough starter, and it was out on the counter. She spent a lot of time, and then she baked it, and it just apparently did not turn out well at all. I was in quarantine at a separate place, so I didn't get any, but from what I hear, it was not good. And then the very next day, I log on to Facebook, and the very top post is my cousin, who has made this beautiful sourdough bread. She's posting all these pictures. And not 5 minutes later, I get a text from Lexi that just says, "I don't like our cousin." So there is angst.
Bread
there is
baking.
bread baking
Yeah.
angst.
That bread baking can just be a mess. It's just a doughy mess. On October 9th, 2016, Florida man arrested after doing blank in front of news crews during hurricane. What was this Florida man doing during a hurricane in front of news crews? Michael.
There's so many ways that this story could go, because what do people do in front of news crews? Streaking is a popular answer. I don't condone that. But what's second to streaking, because this is a family show? I'm going to say he tried to do his best Mary Poppins impersonation. He tried to fly away behind
With
a
an
news crew.
umbrella?
With
Because
an
it was a
umbrella.
hurricane?
With an umbrella.
It's a good answer. I appreciate that answer. Noah.
It's not the right answer, but
I never said it wasn't the right answer. Noah, what do you think this person did?
I'm trying to think of something that would work with the phrase doing, because you didn't just say blank. He blanked. He was doing.
Ben's eyes were like, this is...
So when we record this, we're all on Discord, and so we can, sometimes the internet cuts out. So Noah just got really quiet for a long time, and then it like cut back in, but it was just like the middle part of that laugh that he did. So it just sounded like, It was just really loud, right? And it shocked me, and I was scared.
I'm so sorry.
Anyway.
So I'm struggling with what he could be doing. So I just I typed doing into Google and looked at what the first things are that came up. And the last thing on this suggested list is doing everything aggressively. So my answer is...
Good job going to the last one.
Yeah, you looked up to find the top answers, and you instantly went to the last one.
Well, the first one is doing synonym, which doesn't really work for my purposes. I like doing everything aggressively. He was arrested for doing everything aggressively.
Doing everything aggressively. So Noah says doing everything aggressively. Michael says doing his best Mary Poppins impersonation. Well, Florida man was arrested after doing burnouts in front of news crews during hurricane. So it was in 2016 during Hurricane Matthew, I believe it was. This guy was doing donuts in a parking lot. I don't know why they didn't call them donuts and call them burnouts instead, but
cookies.
Whatever. 20-year-old Brandon Ware was arrested early Friday morning for reckless driving and booked in the Volusia County Branch Jail. The T-shirt Ware was wearing was explicit and erotic, reading blank speeding tickets. And then he was arrested.
Well, he was streaking tire streaks, but my answer wasn't streaking. I should have gone with streaking.
I mean,
and I bet he was being pretty aggressive.
He was pretty aggressive. The T-shirt he was wearing is definitely aggressive. So I'll have to give it to Noah. Yeah, I'll give it to Noah for the aggressiveness in which he was doing the burnouts. Which brings us tied.
Aggressively doing burnouts.
Yes, aggressively doing burnouts. You can't really passively do burnouts, can you?
I've tried. You can't.
In your Dodge Dart. On October 10th...
I've done burnouts in my Dodge Dart.
Really? I've driven your Dodge Dart once in the parking lot of a Barnes & Noble. October 10th, 2015, Florida man in high-speed chase claims... blank. Noah, what did this Florida man claim?
He was trying to reenact Mario Kart. This was Mario Kart's fault.
It's always Mario Kart's fault.
It led him down this path.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously.
I picture him like throwing bananas out his driver's side window, trying to stop the cop cars, throwing turtles at them.
Oh, those poor turtles. No.
He's just got a box of turtles in the seat next to him. He's just chucking out the window.
What are those turtles for? You don't want to know. All right, so he was trying to recreate Mario Kart. Michael, what do you think this Florida man claimed he was doing, or claimed that happened when he was in a high-speed chase?
Did you say the date?
October 10th, 2015.
Beautiful. So his excuse was that he was going to drop off his ballot because he, like you, as an informed American, should make an effort to vote in this election on November 3rd, at or by November 3rd. So please make your vote. We're not going to tell you who to vote
I will.
for, but
I
we
will
fully
tell you
endorse insert candidate name here. So
is that whoever is like the highest bidder?
Yeah.
We'll put their name in.
Someone will just edit in really poorly. Like whoever leaves the next review will put that in there. I'll be like, noodles at midnight. He was just trying to vote, Ben. He was just trying to vote. Give the man a break.
You didn't know that he had like an entire other month. Wait, dude, this is 2015.
He's an early voter.
There was an election in 2015.
You have... Are you sure that you didn't have a... Yeah, you have the midterm elections and things. Unless there wasn't one in 2015, but I feel like...
Okay, he was trying to vote.
Look it up really quick.
So we have recreating Mario Kart or voting. Well, the correct answer was he claimed his dog was driving. A direct quote from the Florida man says, "My dog was driving that car. I ran because I wanted to. You ain't gonna find no drugs or guns on me." He was arrested for being drunk. And driving, so a DUI. They didn't find any guns or drugs, I don't think. So he was apparently right about that. But his dog was not driving. His dog was still in the car, actually. Because he crashed his truck that he was in the high-speed chase with and then ran into a church, and then the church would kind of like threw him out. Like, we don't want you here, which no church should do. We welcome people from all walks of life. And then the police show up, but whatever. So, oh gosh, this one's hard.
No.
Can I make a case?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to make a case for Noah's case, whatever he
All right,
says.
so I guess it's going to Noah, but
All right. In the world of Super Mario, which I am very, very familiar with, I've played pretty much all of them. There are Yoshis, which are dinosaurs that you can ride upon, and you can also own them as pets. So basically dogs. And Yoshis can drive cars in Mario Kart. I rest my case.
all right, that wasn't very good. Michael, what do you have?
Well, my defense is totally blown because I don't think that Florida... Okay, there was a single something in Florida in 2015 on an election in which Buddy Dyer won re-election, I guess, for a fourth term. So my answer just stinks. And I do like the callback to Mario because we did that in Food Flop a couple weeks ago, I think. So
All right, then I'll give it to
It works.
Noah for the victory. Noah wins. Florida man once again. Congratulations. Give him a round of applause, everybody. I think we all won a game this week.
We did.
is that true?
We did. We
Ben
each
won the first one.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
You
wait.
won the second one?
Yeah,
Who won
you're
the
right.
first one?
I won the first one, and then Noah.
Ben
Noah
won
won
the
this
first
one.
one?
Michael, you won the last one.
You're right.
Oh,
we all
sweet.
won.
But you know who really won?
winners.
You know who really won?
Wait, can I make a comment before you do that?
Sure.
I added it to the show notes. I was
Here's a
researching
comment.
Wendy's much earlier, and I found out that, Wendy Thomas, we're all familiar with, is Dave Thomas's daughter, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
No. Well, kind of. Her name is Melinda, but her nickname is Wendy.
How do you
And
get
so
a
he named the
nickname like
restaurant
Wendy with the name Melinda?
out of Melinda?
Melindy.
Apparently, he
Wendy.
tried all 5 of his children's names for the restaurant before he decided to settle on his daughter
Doug's.
Melinda's
What-
name, Wendy.
What did he do with the other kids who weren't named, or they didn't name them? They just put them.
You ever heard of Denny's?
No.
That was another one. Carl's Jr. Dave Thomas named his son Carl Jr.
Carl's Jr.
Hardee's.
Hardy.
Let's think.
Arby. It's all connected, man. It's all connected. I tell
Anyway,
ya.
you know who the real winner is this week? Michael, and
No, you.
the listeners, because you are all winners. And I
The fourth
thank you-
chair.
Yeah, the fourth chair. The listeners. We thank you all so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful and fantastic rest of your week. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to say to the listeners?
Noodles Podcast.
Noodlespodcast.com.
Noodlespodcast.com.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
That was the worst ending yet.
That was our worst ending.